How's it going? Welcome to a new video. And that was just something I put together because when I filmed, when I made the video about BBC shoot and everything, I didn't really add anything in. What happened is BBC had actually blocked a lot of the stuff from the actual programme, so I couldn't share it on my video. So anyway, I hadn't done one in a while and I thought that might be kind of cool. And to be honest, I stressed out a little bit about trying to get this video out in time. So today we're going to talk about vlogging or a vlog or whatever the hell it is and why it's the worst phrase ever invented. So what is a vlog? Well, it's a video blog or video log, usually shortened to vlog. And it's a form of blog for which the medium is video. It's also a form of web television, of which the noun is a vlogger, and someone who posts regularly to an online channel. You can search the term online, but in the interest of quickness, I can provide you with some of the popular definitions. Vlogger, a person who records themselves talking about their life and uploads it to various video sites. For example, Luke decided he had no talent, so he became a vlogger. A talentless person who has gained fame for showing how they live, or, their lives, and for some, they just show how rich they are. The vlogger will often use clickbait to trick you into their boring content. Of course, this is the opinion of those who submit entries to the Urban Dictionary. If you don't know what that is, check it out, it's hilarious. But that doesn't make any of these terms less valid. And I'm aware of how paradoxical this will all sound, as I am myself recording a video log of my musings. But I would rather it be known as something else. I'm not really the video diary type of person, and it would be too direct camera to be a documentary. But it does have a documentary narrative to it. So, because I'm using pictures or interviews with people who are involved in real events to provide a factual report on a particular subject. I'm a real person, and vlogging is the subject. The point of this video is to point out a glaring fact amongst the creator community, especially those who do tip videos, and they fall into two distinct and separate areas. The first is what I refer to as the informative crew. And these are the folks who provide valuable insight into their craft, hobby, occupation, trade, profession, and or vocation. From, say, myrmecology to movies, or video to vexillology. It can be a totally rewarding watch if you know nothing of the subject, or are equally as gifted in its knowledge. The education and learning that goes into it from the sort of teacher to pupil relationship is something we should all really be proud of in this digital era. You can just type in a job and you can probably learn it online, which is amazing. And I'm also sure that I'll probably release a video in the future with my favourite channels to watch, and how I break them down into, ones I watch and ones that are just there and ones that just kind of roll off. But anyway, the second tier of these informational wizards are to what I also refer to as the self-evident squad. And they're invariably made up of this ever-increasing community of creators who just pick a topical subject of the moment and release a video on it in a bid just to secure some positive response, increased subscribers and comments, likes, and all the other gold that's mined for having a channel online, and is generally the main reason I wanted to talk about it. You see, if you've never spoken to a camera before, but you have the intention of parting with some knowledge, then I'm willing to bet you know exactly how to vlog or how to be in one. If you don't, and haven't been privy to the recent rise in online channel-based celebrities, then surely you will have seen something along the lines of the news, maybe, or the weather, or literally anything on TV. For it's exactly the same thing. I mean it. Any fictional story or movie is people telling a story to other people while the camera, you, watches on to get to the end of said story emotionally and equitably that will leave you enraged or elated. Factual entertainment, documentaries, or the Home Shopping Channel, as mainly a presenter talking to the camera, you, about a subject to enlighten and inform, of its, or the thing that it's talking about, and its place in the cosmos, and how it may or may not have an impact on your life. Like YouTube. Sounds familiar, right? So when you watch a video online about, say, Dave, who tells you how he manages to survive on the tropical island of the Maldives with only 150 rupiah a week, which is, $10 to you and me and £8 sterling, which is a good point about researching before you start talking about all this nonsense. When Dave's telling you about that's a narrative or a story, an account of a series of related events, experiences, or the like, found in all forms of human creativity, art, entertainment, which includes pretty much everything: speech, literature, theatre, music and song, comics, journalism, film, television, video games, radio, gameplay, and unstructured recreation, performance in general, as well as maybe painting, sculptures, drawing, photography, and loads of other visual arts. But as long as a sequence of events is presented. There are several art movements, such as, modern art or the likes, who refuse the narrative in favour of the abstract and, and conceptual. But what I'm driving at is that the story I mentioned about the guy in the Maldives called Dave, well, in the grand scheme of things, his story that he tells you is no different to the Blue Planet documentary by David Attenborough in structure. And I just want to point this out before anybody kicks off and any backlash, that I can confirm that Blue Planet is where Sir David Attenborough narrates his critically acclaimed series that dives deep into the marine environment of planet Earth. Dave's story in the Maldives is just shit. Now, I'm not doing this to out anyone. No, maybe I am, but I won't name names because it's no point. There are multiple offenders out there who just talk rubbish every week to the hordes of folk who will listen, basically, and they seem to take it as some sort of factual, informative presentation. And it either has no real educational impact or zero entertaining qualities, but more often than not, the visual presentation is actually okay. I was motivated by a video that I did see, simply titled "How to Vlog with a Phone," and I was completely dumbfounded at how self-evident it all is, and that it needed a video at all, let alone a collaborative effort on it where two people attack it from all directions. But surely nobody needs tips on how to talk on camera. The principles that are not actually the motions of opening your mouth and saying stuff while it is recorded on this fangled device. Techniques, perhaps. How to conduct oneself, speak in public. See, these are tips. Something that explains human limitations, fears, apprehensions, and how to get past them. These are tips. But explaining the workings of the device that, by the video's admission, everyone has, doesn't need any explaining. Unless, like the technique, you explain handy tips on how to hold it, turn it on, and get it going. I think those tips might be for something else. Anyway, I am aware for a second time about how contradictory this video could be perceived. And the irony that surrounded it, that I would make a video about human conditioning via the very medium that conditions us all daily about a subject I'm currently engaged in. But I feel as if this is more of an obvious look at things, Recently it's been, seen as a taboo in the online world, about telling it like it is and allowing the freedom to speak out about all the things, the important and the benign alike. But if it is thorough and said with effect, passion, and a sort of fact, then it can't be dismissed. It can be argued with, which I'm fine with, as long as said argument has foundation and substance and isn't a sort of, a shaking of the head and your fingers firmly placed in the ears, which a lot of people do when they just have an idea and that's pretty much it. But I like poking a bit of fun at the social construct and how others are enveloped in it or are pushed away from it. So in the interest of human conditioning and setting myself apart from the rest, here are my tips on being a vlogger or a documentary filmmaker. Don't let the vernacular of the YouTube young team make you feel uncomfortable with using these terms. That is documentary. I hate the word vlogger or vlog. It's just a portmanteau that is deemed to be clever and socially acceptable to an age or group. You can call it whatever the hell you want. It's a documentary by video, a visually recorded narration of a story, and is a form of passing information to a wider audience. A digital teacher, if you will. Unless your content isn't to teach, of course, but to show and inform a social activity, a hobby, or thoughts and musings that are of your style, opinion, and veritas. Tip number 1. Don't vlog. Talk to the camera, yes. Establish a narrative and explain what you're doing, of course. Do those things as you would talk to any friend, family member, or stranger. Not as a self-help guru, who clearly needs the help more. Tip number 2, don't advise. Explain, of course, extrapolate, delve into a subject or item or issue with intrigue and question, which you can then back up with an opinion based on fact, but not your understanding of it, papped off as some sort of truth. No. And lastly, do what you want. Don't worry about what other people think. They don't think very often. And that last one is actually quite important, because if you've made it this far, then I applaud thee and commend you on your staying power. However, I am doing exactly that. I'm doing what I want. I'm doing what, and this video is what I wanted to do. And I know a certain section of people, it won't resonate with. But all 3 of those tips are relative throughout this entire video. And I felt it necessary to I wanted to put a video out to maintain my continuity of putting videos out, and I know this was just a little bit more ranty, but as somebody who posts on this platform but also watches the platform, there are great channels out there, and like I said, I'll make a video on it. I think there's some really great people out there who make some really great videos, and then there's other ones that you just watch because it's popcorn for the eyes, a little bit of fun. It's not great, but it's not it's not bad either. It's kind of somewhere in the middle. And then there's the sheer dross, the rest of it. And I know it's all subjective because, that's just the nature of things. But it's still worth pointing out what's good in terms of narrative, etc., and what's not. Anyway, if you made it this far, thanks very much for your continued support. Thanks for watching the videos. Headbutt that like button if you did enjoy it. Leave a comment below if you would like to. And I hope you enjoyed it. And like before, if you didn't, well,
you can go fuck yourself.